I gotta say, guys, did we really need 3 whole minutes of recap at the beginning of our episode today? Like, really? Did we really need that? I'm sitting here like, alright, come on, guys. Come on, like, we don't have an infinite number of episodes to adapt this in. Let's not waste it on recap 4 episodes in. But, whatever. But man, the QUINCY'S really pulled up in this episode and told Soul Society, like, I don't know what you think's gonna happen, but this is how stuff's really gonna happen. They really sat them down. They sunned the hell out of them in this episode. This is wild, man. I actually love the fact that I haven't read the manga for this in so long, because it feels new to me again. Like, obviously, I still remember some very key points, and I'll point them out when we get to them later in the arc, but I kind of love that I'm watching this again, and I'm like, oh, that's right, that happens! It's really refreshing and fun, and I love it. I hope you guys are feeling that way, too. Because, man, what a nostalgic episode we had today. It felt like we were seeing the greatest hits. And then we got the greatest hits just smashed to pieces. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it and talk about Bleach 1000-Year Blood War episode 4 today. Our episode begins today with us getting a recap of the situation, of the decimation of Soul Society, where so far we've confirmed that enemy spiritual pressures in 16 different locations inside the Sirete. Spiritual pressures belonging to several Soul Reapers have disappeared in several other locations. Squad 3's Lieutenant, Kira, which is Izuru's, his spiritual pressure is gone. He's done. And Akon is freaking out because over 1,000 people have died in 7 minutes. He realizes there's no way we can beat these guys right now. As we transition to one of the head QUINCY guys, and I remember this guy. I don't remember his name, but he's one of the big shots. As he's approaching our Aizen wannabe and tells him, if you're scared, feel free to run. I can't make an example out of any of you. You're fodder. He says, you dare mock the 13 court guard squads? As he charges at him. And he literally splits him in 2! Goodbye, Aizen wannabe. And let me just say, the transition into the title card today for Kill the Shadow is freaking awesome. It looks great. It's so gruesome, but it looks great. And it's here we transition to Rojiro, who, if you guys remember, is one of the ex-Visors who came back and took the spot of captain again, as he's looking over his dead comrades as he gets approached by a Stern Ritter, who asks him, did someone die? He tells him, there's no need for me to answer that. But then the Stern Ritter's like, there is though. The spiritual pressures that just disappeared now came from Baz B's location. If there are survivors, that means he messed up his job. As he gets revealed to be Stern Rider Yu Nanana. What a name. As Rojiro tells him, don't assume you're getting out of this alive, QUINCY. And it's here we transition to the Squad 6 barracks, where all these Soul Reapers are getting brutally murdered. It's wild. As they scream, what kind of monster is that thing? As it gets revealed to be Stern Rider F, as noted. And as they look upon their fellow Soul Reapers, it looks like getting crucified on these stakes, basically. They all start running. Except for one who says, yo, don't run! Our mission is to protect the 13 court guard squads. We must not retreat. And it's here out of nowhere, our boy Renji comes out of nowhere and says, well said. Step aside and leave the rest to me. And I gotta be honest, guys. Renji showing up don't fill me with confidence. Renji gets bodied all the time, bro. What's Renji gonna do against this guy? Come on now. Renji ain't doing shit. Stern Rider F just looks at him like, oh, you wanna die next? And it's here we transition to Squad 7 as Stern Rider E, Bombetta, who I definitely remember her, is fighting with, Komamura? As he says, even a young girl like you is fighting for the rebel army? And she responds with the utter disrespect that they've made a doggy like you a captain? You guys must be seriously understaffed. As we see all these different Soul Reapers fighting these Quincy's on a bunch of different fronts. And Bleach is very good at this. I'd argue Bleach is some of the best at this, at doing very large-scale battles and showing us different perspectives during each battle in it. Bleach is very good at doing that. It's kind of like a shtick that they always do. As we transition back to Renji's fight with Stern Rider F, and shocker, he's not doing anything! As he notes that the moment he blocks, some sort of marking appears. But as he's thinking that, he actually gets jumped by another Stern Rider. And gets saved by our boy Byakuya, who tells him there's no need to hold back, Renji. These people are trying to annihilate the Soul Society without mercy. They are our enemies. Cut them down with everything you've got. As Renji tells him that, Captain, our swords can't penetrate them. As Byakuya tells him, our swords can't penetrate them. That's not possible. As he cuts the hand of Stern Rider F. And literally sends the other one down into a pit, getting rid of him. As he starts getting into a fight with F. And Renji uses this moment to tie him up with his sword as Byakuya comes and lands a blow on him, thinking that he killed him, but he didn't. As it's revealed that he stopped every one of Zenbone Zakura's little petal blades. And it's here that the real fight begins. And it's here we transition to the Squad 10 barracks as Toshiro is in a fight with another Stern Ritter. As he tells him, you can't use that hand of yours anymore because he completely froze it solid. As he literally charges at him and uses Toshiro's own sword to break the ice. Like, yeah, I can't use my arm, huh? As we transition to the Squad 2 barracks, as we see that Soifon is fighting a Stern Ritter, as she realizes that Suzumi Bachi can't pierce this guy, which means she can't do her one-shot kill technique. As she gets pushed back and is in a lot of trouble. And as we transition back to Byakuya, he's ready to get serious as Renji says, do you intend to use your Bankai against this guy? As he says, Captain, according to Sasakiba's report, they supposedly have a means of sealing away Bankai. He tells him, I'm aware of that, but these despicable people are responsible for Lieutenant Sasakiba's death and caused bloodshed within the Sirete without warning. Moreover, they are foes we cannot defeat without using Bankai. No shit. Which means that figuring out a way to break that seal will be the key to this battle. As he tells Renji that if my Bankai is sealed away, I want you to finish him off with yours. And I'm sitting here like, Byakuya, you really want to entrust that to Renji of all people? Like, we got some more people we could get in here. Don't entrust that to Renji. As we just hear the nostalgic words, Bankai. As we see all the swords coming up and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It looks so good in the new animation. Zenbone Zakura Kageyoshi. As we see that Komamura uses his Bankai along with Soifon and Toshiro. But the Stern Ritters were just waiting for this moment because right when they activate them, they start to take it. And Byakuya is like, we were wrong. This is not a seal. He stole it. As everyone there is shocked. As Toshiro says, I don't sense anything from my sword. Say something. Say anything, Hyorinmaru. They not only stole the Bankai, they stole the Zanpakuto themselves. As Toshiro says, what are you doing, Rangiku? Inform all the captains about this. Tell them not to use their Bankais. They don't seal Bankais, they steal them. As she ends up letting everyone know, and Mayuri's like, those idiots! Why couldn't they wait until my analysis was complete? Which is true though, it's like, he literally told everyone, like, they can do this. Like, why would you do that? You know they can steal it. They're all just like, nah, I'm different though, bro. They're not gonna steal my Bankai. They might take yours, but they ain't stealing mine until it's stolen. He says, I can't believe their stupidity. And I'm kind of the same way, like, come on, guys. As we transition to one of my favorite captains, Shunsui, as he says, I suppose we should be grateful. With enough information, Captain Kurasuchi can usually come up with a solution within a day. Except this time he didn't, because he severely lacks information. We had no idea when we'd find out what your abilities were, but you're not a foe we can defeat without Bankai. Which means sooner or later, Someone had to become a sacrifice. As his fight with this stern Ritter commences. And I gotta say, Shunsui has a lot of experience fighting people with guns, man. As this guy gets behind him and actually lands a hit on him. As he says, what do you know? I've been putting on a brave face, but I guess I'm more disturbed than I thought. As we see that he lost one of his eyes. As we transition back to Renji fighting Stern Rider F, and Byakuya tells him, don't! As he's about to release his Bankai, like, what are you doing, dummy? We can't afford to lose your Bankai as well. He says, then how are we supposed to fight against these guys? They're not. They're supposed to die. As we just see across the Serite that all of these Soul Reapers are getting massacred. At this point, Akon doesn't have a choice as he says, put me through to Ichigo Kurosaki. We need him here ASAP. He says, I'll take full responsibility for this. Just get me that motherfucker now. As he ends up calling Urahara and says, I need to talk with Ichigo Kurosaki now. Put me through with him. Urahara tells him that's not possible because he's currently fighting a Quincy, who claims to be the captain of the Waco Mundo Hunt Army. As we see that Quilgi has been constantly trying to steal Ichigo's Bankai, but he's been failing at it and he's getting frustrated, as Ichigo is just slapping him around. As Urahara says, it seems like the enemy's trying to seal away Ichigo's Bankai, but he's getting quite frustrated because it's not working. Ichigo's just that guy, man. What can I say? He's just that guy. Urahara says, I know that the Soul Society has been dealing with invaders. The fact that you contacted me means that things are quite serious. So let me ask you again, how are things going over there? As Quilgi's like, why? I'm using my Volstern Ditch and even absorbed that monster. How is he able to surpass me so easily? As Ichigo tells him that the guy I met the other day was also trying to seal away my Bankai. Why do you want to seal away my Bankai so badly? He tells him, I'm not obligated to give you an answer to that. As Ichigo rebuttals that, could it be you guys are afraid of Bankai? Quilgi gets furious and says, of course not! The Wandenreich fears nothing! As Urahara literally shoots a hole through his heart! As he tells him, thank you very much, Ichigo. You were able to disrupt the enemy's defensive reishi, allowing me to deal a fatal blow. As he tells him, we have an emergency. Please head to Soul Society immediately. Ask Akon for details along the way. As Akon tells him, listen carefully without giving in to despair. As Ichigo starts heading to Soul Society. As Orihime and Chad run up and Urahara says, perfect timing. That corpse there should be carrying a palm-sized metal plate. Please find it and bring it to me. As he says, I had Ichigo head to the Soul Society. I'll explain later. Right now I need to analyze the enemy. As Ichigo learns that they steal Bankai, not seal them. As he learns that the captains of squads 2, 6, 7, and 10 have already had their Bankai stolen. As Urahara tells him, I've analyzed the data from your earlier battle with the enemy. He says there are 3 major abilities to note that the QUINCY'S possess. The first is the Quincy Volstern Ditch. The second is the ability he referred to as Blut. By releasing reishi directly into their veins, they can drastically increase their offensive and defensive abilities. It doesn't appear like they can do it at the same time, though. And the third and most important one is Bankai plundering. This shit turned into One Piece all of a sudden. They're plundering those Bankais. Your Bankai is the only one they cannot steal. And as he's about to explain to him why that is, we see an arrow shoot past him and start closing the entrance to Soul Society. As it gets revealed that Urahara was shot in the back, and Chad has multiple holes in him along with Orihime. They got shot through with arrows. Urahara says, I let my guard down thinking he'd be dead from those injuries. As it's revealed that Quilgi's still alive, as he says, I won't let him get there. The order given to me by His Majesty was to keep Ichigo Kurosaki at bay, even if it means my life. As he shoots another arrow into the Giganta and traps Ichigo within a spear. As he says, you were so close to reaching the Soul Society to defend it. You no longer have any means of escaping that prison. You lose, Ichigo Kurosaki. As he closes this end of the Garganta as well, trapping Ichigo inside. As our episode ends. And man, what a really fun episode we had. Like I said, we had some greatest hits as we got to see some Bankai's from characters we ain't seen in like 10 plus years, guys. I'll be honest, I kind of popped off when Byakuya came out and said, Bankai, Zenbon Zakura Kageyoshi. That really filled me with nostalgia. I was like, oh man, this is dope. It's really hitting me now that Bleach is really back. Even though it's been weeks now, I think today is the fact that it's really, really hitting me. Just what a great episode, man. The QUINCY'S really came up and said, nah, this is how it's gonna go. Y'all are dying. We're purging all of you here and now. And shit's looking kind of dire right now for Soul Society. They literally had to call Ichigo like, yo, you need to come bail us out of this, bro. We need you right now. It's crazy, man. The QUINCY'S are a threat that who knows how they'll beat them. But, like I said, we had a really fun episode today, guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I'm still so happy Bleach is back. I'm grinning like a fool right now because I'm so giddy. I'm so happy. I can't wait till next week. And I hope you guys are the same. But until then, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And so just deuces. Have a blessed day, and let's keep the Bleach greatness going. I'll see you guys next time.